I'm Gary Martin, one of the PGA pros from Huddersfield Golf Club, and today we're going to be discussing the technique for playing greenside bunker shots. But this technique we're going to discuss today is a very basic and easy way to get out of the sand. So it's certainly not, a technique that I would expect a lower handicap golfer or a scratch golfer to be using, but this is a technique for anybody that might have started golf over the last couple of years that just wants to get out of the sand, and somewhere on the green. Okay, so I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. Keep it just a few points to make sure that you're setting up in a way that's going to help you create the right sort of impact factors to be able to get that ball out the bunker, and onto the green. So this is again another video that's been inspired by a viewer. He's a newer golfer. He said he's watched a lot of sort of bunker demonstrations by some of the top coaches in the world, and I would imagine they're absolutely fantastic demonstrations. However, he doesn't feel like he's got the skill set to actually execute what they're coaching. And, I think that's a fantastic point, because I think there's some fantastic information on YouTube, but sometimes, it might be geared more towards the sort of lower handicappers or the pros or the scratch golfers. And, if you start to sort of watch that and try to, execute that kind of shot, you might just be setting yourself up to fail. So, as I said, this is going to be a very simple introduction to playing a greenside bunker shot. So first things first, I've set up a little bit of a station. We've got our alignment stick, which is going to help us get the right ball position. And then I've got 3 golf balls, which I've just drawn a circle around in the sand, which has got probably about a 3-inch diameter. All right, so what I've tried to do is make it look a little bit like a fried egg. So you've got the egg yolk, which is the golf ball, and then we've got an egg white around the outside. And we're going to use this station to help demonstrate how to play a greenside bunker shot. Now obviously, you can't do this on the golf course, but if you've got a practice bunker at the club you're playing, this is, a great drill for you to practice. So I'm going to try and keep this as simple as possible for you guys. All right, we're going to start by getting the feet in the correct place. So again, like I've said, this is a bug shot aim for a new golfer, an introduction to playing a greenside bunker shot. So what we're going to do, we're going to start by shuffling our feet into the sand with the ball position lined up on the inside of the front heel. So you can see I've set the alignment stick there. So I'm going to shuffle that foot in just about an inch, just to get us a little bit underneath the sand. All right, so now if we hold the club in the normal place, that means when we get to our bottom of our swing, the club's going to bottom out underneath the sand, okay? And that's the key to striking this shot right, because it is the only shot in golf where you shouldn't actually make contact with the ball. You should be trying to take a cushion of sand. All right, so we've got the feet just outside shoulder width, shuffled into the sand, so about an inch below the sand, and the front heel is lined up with the ball. Now from there, what I like to get a feeling of is this front knee is just length forward. All right, so that's going to put a little bit more weight on this front knee, but what it also does, it reverses your spine slightly. So you should feel that your spine is slightly leaning back, and I would want the spine to hang about an inch behind the ball, so that it's going to help us hit this egg white rather than the ball. We don't want you sort of leaning this way, because you're going to contact too close to the ball and possibly fin it. So again, you start with your weight 50-50, you push your knee forward, and this kind of reverses that spine a little bit. And then from there, playing quite a square face. Don't open your face up too much, because we're keeping this as simple as possible. I want you to play just a normal pitch shot swing. All right, so an L shape to an L shape on the way through, trying to get the bottom of the club to glide along the surface. All right, don't try to dig. That's the biggest thing, that's the biggest mistake I see from amateur golfers. They try to sort of dig the ball out, or they try to sort of lift the ball out. You've just got to try. I'll just give you a visual demonstration of once you've set your body up correctly. So weight forward, reverse spine, you're shuffled into the sand. All you're trying to do is sweep the top of the sand. So you've got that sweeping motion. I don't want to see this where you're digging it, or you're trying to lean back and lift it out. I want you to get your pre-shot set up right. So shuffling your feet in, inside of your heel lined up with a ball, weight onto that front knee and just reversing that spine. And then your club should sort of hang, when you do that, about an inch behind the ball. And then from there, just sweeping the sand. So just playing a normal pitch swing, and because you've lowered yourself into the floor, it should sweep underneath the sand. So just taking that top layer off. I wish you had that angle because it's finished just an inch past the hole. I don't actually know how it's not gone in. It's actually around the back of the hole. So play that again, shuffled in an inch, front heel, line it with a ball, weight onto that front knee. That's reversed the spine a little bit, so my club is hanging. When I put my hands here, the club just sits a few inches behind the ball, and then have that confidence. Try not to dig, just sweep that top, that inch, what we've lowered ourselves into, you know, we've got underneath the sand, and just sweep it. That's a good strike. Now, what's a good routine for you to practice as well is, without even hitting any balls, is get into that pre-shot setup and just actually have some rehearsals of sweeping the top layer of the sand, so getting that, you know, ripple effect across the top of the sand. You know, and make sure that when you're doing it, you know, we're not trying to lift it, or we're not trying to sort of dig. You're trying to keep your left cheek glued in position and just turn your shoulders, you know, around your spine. So keeping that swing center. Starting by lining it off the heel, shuffle the feet into the sand. So you've got about an inch, you know, you're an inch below the sand now. Set that front knee forward so it just overhangs your front foot and it reverses your spine slightly. Key here, hold it in a normal position. Don't go, you know, further down the club or further up the club. Just hold it in a normal position. And then from there, I want you to just play your normal sort of pitch swing. Play it with a square face because we're aiming sort of parallel and square to target here. It is a beginner's shot. We're not trying to sort of get too advanced here. It could go in. I've just had to edit there because I cut my head off, moved a bit too close to the camera. But I think after playing them 3 shots, what it's taught me is that, you know, maybe I should go back to a bit more of a basic setup and a basic technique, because I don't play as much golf as I used to do. And I've just executed them 3 shots really, really well, you know, thinking of, you know, simple things, keeping it very simple, playing with a square club face. Now, you know, if you are going to try and practice that model of shot, you will need to make sure that your 60 degree or your 56, the club that you use out the sand, has got plenty of bounce on it. Now mine, if you see my 60 degree, it's such a wide sole. It's designed with a lot of bounce, specifically because I like to play 60 degrees from the bunker, you know. So if you are trying to play a club with a square face and you've got very low bounce, then that club could possibly dig into the surface rather than splash across the top of the sand. So it is important, you know, if you're going to keep this technique basic, to make sure that your 60 or your lob wedge, the club you're using in the sand, has got plenty of bounce. You know, otherwise, if you're using a low bounce golf club, you might have to start to open the club face up, and then you're making things a lot more difficult, because then we've got to start to think more about alignment, you know. And, you know, I don't want to get too much into detail, because that's where, you know, it's going to break down for you newer golfers when we start to get too complicated. Now, just to finally finish on this one as well, really enjoying all the ideas from you guys. You're really inspiring me. And also, you know, being new to YouTube, I've just started to look at analytics, and I can see I'm getting a lot of people watching the videos, but not everyone's subscribing. So Julian made a great point, because he's not a YouTuber and he didn't know it was free to subscribe, you know. So it is free, there's no cost to it, and it will really, you know, help me grow and reach a larger audience. So I would really appreciate you to subscribe if you've enjoyed the comments. And I think that's about it. I'll see you in a couple of days. Bye.